as soon as heavily armed Somali pirates
Mayday.
storm on board the Maersk Alabama. They terrorize the crew.
Am I sane to think that I can fight by myself against 4 pirates?
The Alabama's commander is immortalized by Tom Hanks in the movie Captain Phillips. But in the real story, other forgotten heroes fight back, led by Chief Engineer Mike Perry.
Mike Perry, great guy, kind of unassuming, but a real bad dude, right?
Capturing a pirate.
I'm gonna cut his throat, and I'm gonna quickly go kill 3 more.
This is Mike Perry's 19 hours of hell and heroics on the high seas. This is the real story of Captain Phillips.
1 down.
In 2013, Hollywood gave America a new hero, Captain Phillips, commander of the hijacked Maersk Alabama. But the movie caused a huge controversy with the ship's crew. They argue it ignores their suffering and forgets the man who saves them, Chief Engineer Mike Perry.
Everybody on this ship owes their life to this man right here.
The real story starts nearly 300 miles off war-torn Somalia, in East Africa. The Maersk Alabama is carrying about 17,000 tons of cargo to Mombasa in Kenya. The crew is on constant alert.
85% of the time we were in pirate territory. If you're in the way, they're gonna get you.
Mike Perry is the ship's chief engineer.
Our deal 1 is to keep the engines running, make electricity, water, air conditioning. That's what the engineering department does.
But they are entering dangerous waters. A speeding skiff is approaching rapidly. A pirate fast attack craft.
I said, Captain Phillips, we're in danger. I wanted to get off the ship as fast as I could.
Colin Wright is the 3rd mate.
We've got pirate ships closing, and our protocol was to go to our stations when the pirates are 1 mile from us.
I went up to the bridge. They came with automatic weapons, and they were not going away. We're just ducks in a pond. They were slowly gaining. So I turned to the captain and I said, well, I can make the ship go faster.
It's like, holy cow, let us get out of here.
Mike pushes his engines beyond their normal limits to increase speed. Will it be enough?
Slowly, his estimated time to reach us was stretching out longer and longer.
They get to 0.8 of a mile from us. And they'd had enough. And they stopped and they turned back.
It's a close-run thing. That day, the Alabama had got away with it. But it was only a matter of time.
Talking to the captain, I said, if you got a threat, you can call me and I'll come down and we can do the same thing again. He said, okay, we'll do that. So I did get one thing in the plan.
Mike Perry is a natural leader. A veteran of the US Navy, he was promoted from the ranks to retire as a lieutenant commander.
I was 17, joined the Navy in 1965, and deployed to Vietnam many times. I got to fix stuff, which is the only reason I went in the Navy in the first place.
Great guy, kind of unassuming, quiet guy, but a real bad dude, right?
That night, Mike leads the discussion on how to make the ship more secure.
It was a meeting. I think people were feeling good that we got away. That time in history, people were of the opinion that pirates would not dare attack an American flagship.
No US ship had been boarded by pirates since the 1800s. But driven by poverty and terrifying warlords, the Somali raiders are now getting more aggressive. In 2009, shipping lines paid them a fortune in ransoms, around $85 million.
It brought it up to a higher level that American ships were vulnerable. We need to take proper precautions.
The crew did not know that the US Maritime Administration had just advised all vessels in that area to move into safer waters, 600 miles off the dangerous coast of Somalia. The Alabama stays at around 300 miles offshore.
A crew member voiced something about, that this is dangerous type of deal. The response to that was, you shouldn't have taken the job.
Accounts differ about that night, and the captain is not admired by all his shipmates.
He did not have a good rapport with the crew. It's not a popularity contest out there. The captain always was doing his job as the captain.
Tensions run high as Mike argues that more can be done for their safety.
We did not have a safe room. We had our whole protocol for pirate attacks were written out, and the safe room was not a part of it.
Acting on his own initiative, Mike had long proposed the creation of their own safe room, where the crew can shelter during any pirate attack.
But captain after captain was, no, we want nothing to do with it.
Mike decides to go ahead anyway.
Very critical part was done the night before.
The proposed safe room has a real weakness. Very visible access hatch on the open deck. It must be sealed shut. Mike asks for volunteers, and fellow engineer John Cronin steps up.
Something motivated him to just go ahead and weld this up.
Mike is concerned enough to have the hatch welded shut. Their lives are all in danger.
I was worried about what could happen. And I wrote home and told my family that, hey, we're in a bad situation and I hope I can make it home.
Somewhere around 6:30, 6:40, I get the call. We can see one now. Captain wants you to go to the engine room. About 7, the general alarm is sounded with the piracy alarm, and everybody showed up. That was the start of it.
A little before 7 o'clock, and I hear somebody banging on my door and yelling. They're calling that we're having a pirate attack. I hustled up to the bridge.
They've spotted a new threat, and it's closing fast. Pirate attack speed.
And ATM said, "Holy cow, look over the side, they're right over there."
ATM Reza, known to everyone as ATM, is the duty helmsman.
It was like, oh man, the waves were flat. There weren't going to be any problem for them coming onto our ship.
Mike decides he will take over all the ship's controls if the pirates board.
And I'm thinking, when things go bad, I'm disabling the ship. It's not going to be their ship.
This was a lot different than the day before. It was not good. Captain Phillips said, go out there and shoot these flares at them. So I said, okay, and off I went to do that.
The signal flare is not designed as a weapon. Only a very lucky hit might set the pirate's skiff on fire. It's a desperate act of defiance.
There were 4 pirates on the skiff. They had AK-47s. And I hear pinging and gunshots that were right on the bulkhead behind me. And so they were shooting at me before I could ever get a flare shot off. That was pretty scary. Captain Phillips is inside, and he's telling me, get back in the bridge, get back in the bridge. And I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, they could shoot me trying to get back into the bridge.
Below deck, most of the 20 crew rush towards Mike's newly completed refuge.
So I sent them into the safe room I'm preparing. Now, at that point, nobody on the ship knows where they're at.
But Colin is trapped in the open and under fire.
Every time anybody on the bridge wing was seen, they shot at him. And so he's risking his life.
So I waited about a minute or so and then made a safe entrance back into the bridge.
Today, there's no escape.
Captain Phillips says, we have 1 pirate aboard at this time. And I'm on with UKMTO, and I tell them, we've just been boarded by pirates.
Stop! Put it down! Put it down!
And the man at UKMTO said, oh shit.
Move! Move!
UKMTO is 911 for the oceans, linking commercial ships to the military, telling the world the Alabama has been hijacked.
Move! Move!
The pirate leader is called Muse.
Get down!
Muse was not a big guy. He looked to be like 5'7" and 110 pounds. But he really looked like he was about 240 pounds and 8 feet tall.
On your knees! On your knees!
And I guess an AK-47 makes people look that big.
He's amazed how young the pirates are. Muse is just 18. But the gunmen have the bridge crew and the captain. One of the gunmen now forces third mate Colin Wright to lower the flexible pilot ladder so the other 2 gunmen can board.
And I noticed my hands are shaking, and that's the first time that I really realized that, hey, I'm a little bit nervous. And the whole time I'm thinking, I want to grab this guy, and I want to get this gun. The ladder's down there, and one of the pirates from the skiff starts to climb the ladder. And I made 2 steps toward him. And he spun around really fast and had the gun right on my chest, a foot away. And it was very scary. We were gonna fight until we had no other options. I went as far as I could without getting killed right then. I believed that they would shoot me at any time. I didn't feel like they had anything to lose.
4 pirates are now on board, and all are armed. On the bridge, Muse and 1 gunman have no idea who they've captured.
They finally look over at me and they say, "What are you?"
Where are you from? Where are you from?
And finally I said, "We're Americans."
American.
And they looked at each other and they were smiling and they went, yeah!
Get down on your knees.
And they celebrated because they had a payday.
We got them. We're making money. Dollars, huh? Dollars, dollars, dollars.
And I was not very happy. It's like, it may be years before I get home if they don't kill me.
They quickly strike terror into their 4 captives: Colin, Captain Phillips, helmsman ATM, and 1 other sailor.
We got one pirate that keeps jumping out of the seat in the bridge and shaking his gun at us.
Mike listens in on the open radio channel as ATM is targeted.
Guns up against ATM's head. Right up next to his ear, automatic fire, threatening him.
And then he'd calm down and he'd sit back down and he'd put his gun back on safety. And I'm thinking, I really want to get hold of that gun.
Then all the power goes off. Below, in his engine room, Chief Engineer Mike Perry has taken control of the entire ship.
I shut equipment down that, like, was never designed to be shut down. I just turned it off. Electricity, air conditioning, refrigeration, and started unplugging the Ethernet, the internet cable. You know, I'm gonna sabotage the ship so that nobody can use it.
The Alabama is now dead in the water, with just emergency lighting.
I know their next thing, because they don't have control of the ship, they gotta come looking for us.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Put your hands on your head.
The pirates are marooned. They cannot move or steer the ship without Mike and the crew.
Where's the rest of them? Huh? There's more of you. Where are they?
The whole time the pirates are saying, hey, get the crew up here.
Are they coming? Are they coming?
And we kept saying, we don't know where they are.
You don't know. They are your people. Huh? What do you mean you don't know?
And actually, we didn't know where they were.
Who's the captain? You're the captain. Stand up. Stand up. Where is the rest of the crew? Call them. Call them.
If they had any sense, they weren't going to come up there until they heard the supper time, dinner time, the code word that everything was safe.
By not saying the supper time, dinner time code that gives the all clear, he is telling them to keep away.
Are they coming? Are they coming? You. Time is running out. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, I kill him.
The pirates make a simple demand. The crew must appear within 2 minutes, or Colin will be shot.
The whole time, the captain's calling for all hands to the bridge. Everybody come to the bridge. They're gonna shoot somebody. They're threatening to kill somebody. Colin Wright in particular.
How long? How long?
Muse told the captain, you have 2 minutes to get the crew here.
If they take long, I'm going to shoot him. Shoot him.
And Muse traces out a target point. And I'm thinking, this guy is getting ready to shoot me.
Immediately. Immediately. Now. You're taking too long.
And I'm saying, Captain, because I wanted him to call the crew and say, hey, they're about to shoot Colin. Come on up.
All crew reports approach immediately.
With the crew safe in their newly finished refuge, Mike faces an agonizing choice.
Surrendering the whole crew to the pirates would have been so destructive.
If he gives up the crew, the pirates can use them to run the Alabama and take them all to Somalia as hostages.
First engineer was the youngest man there. He was 30. I was 60.
Several are much older than Mike.
I can name a couple of them that would not survive 3 or 4 months in Somalia.
It's an impossible decision, but Mike decides to protect the lives of the 14 sailors in the safe room over the 4 men on the bridge.
And Muse says, 1.5 minutes.
This is the captain. All crew report to the bridge immediately.
He did say, hey, they want to start shooting if the crew doesn't come up, but he never said the safe word. And I was fine with that.
They're threatening to kill somebody. I'm sorry. I can't do anything about that.
60 seconds!
And it's down to a minute, and they're saying, Captain, we want them here right now.
1 minute! Where? Where are they?
And I'm starting to look which one of these pirates I can grab before I get shot.
Look down, don't look at me. Call him again. 60 seconds, I kill him right here. Right here. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
It was down to 30 seconds, and it's not looking good.
Right here, I'm going to shoot him right here. Huh? Where are they? 30 seconds.
I'm sorry, they were gone. It's out of my hands. And I literally just turned my radio down so I couldn't hear it no more. And I didn't dwell on it. I knew you can't think about it and let it go.
Right there. Huh? Him right here.
And when the 2 minutes was up, Muse came right in front of me.
Get up. Get up. Now, now. Come here, Sid.
But decides it's too soon to start the killing.
And he said, you go get the crew and get them back on the bridge.
Find him and bring him here.
And it didn't take me more than a second to be off of that bridge.
Yalla.
And I went straight down the inside ladder well, and nobody followed me. And I had a place picked out that I was going to go to if I'd gotten away.
In the darkness, the crew is his biggest threat.
I moved very slowly, saying supper time, dinner time, because I didn't want to get bonked on the head by one of my own guys. I made it all the way to the forward part of the ship, and I stayed there.
But Colin's distress call has been received. The US Navy scrambles a P-3 Orion, long-range reconnaissance aircraft from Djibouti in East Africa, hundreds of miles to the northwest. Equipped with state-of-the-art sensors, its mission is to find the stricken Alabama and coordinate a rescue. The USS Bainbridge, a top-of-the-line destroyer, is the closest US warship. She is ordered to proceed at maximum speed and save the Alabama. But she is over 300 miles, or 10 hours away. Mike is on his own.
The emergency generator comes on automatically. Well, I don't want him to have that, so I had to sneak out and get up on deck and shut that down.
But to get there, Mike risks being shot by the pirates guarding the bridge or searching the ship.
So it's pretty difficult to hear through a still door, but you don't want to open a door into a pirate.
The pirates realize Colin has disappeared, and one now forces Captain Phillips to be his guide.
Well, then we hear some yakking, and here's the captain being led around at gunpoint by a pirate looking for us. And he's talking loud. He's a talker. He can talk good. No, they're not there. No, look over here.
Mike has a hazardous journey, carefully avoiding the searching pirates and hiding to escape detection by the gunman. He then creeps onto the main deck to disable the emergency generator.
He went out on deck and went to the emergency diesel generator room and cut the power from the emergency diesel generator.
But if the pirate lookouts spot him, he is dead.
Incredibly brave to do that.
At that point, I'm just running on gut instinct. But now I'm talking about making it offensive.
Muse, the pirate leader, now forces the helmsman ATM to guide his search for the crew.
Now the ship is pitch black, so I'm going through the dark and I get down to the engine room. I know it was 130 degrees. I got rid of everything but a knife and a flashlight and a radio. Am I sane to think that I can fight by myself against 4 pirates? I envision these people to be 6'6", 250-pound linebackers, so I had to up my game to be something that I certainly was not.
He hears footsteps. And then the engine room door bursts open.
It's ATM and a pirate. And they're come down, and I'm like, okay, this has got to be it. Got my knife in my hand, and I'm ready for him. And I'm gonna cut his throat, and I'm gonna kill him. And I'm gonna quickly go kill 3 more. And I'm all the way down on my haunches, my strongest muscle, and I launched for that guy. I hit him. We're up in the air against the machinery. And down on the ground we go.
The knife stabs Muse in his left hand.
My blade is laying right there on his jugular, exactly where I wanted it to go. I'm 60 years old at that time. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm cramping up. What am I gonna do? I got him, but I'm gonna have to kill him or... I remembered ATM. I called out ATM's name. And in ATM's light, I see this big old knife.
ATM now teases his tormentor.
So then I called the crew that was hiding. They all came out, captured this guy. And I hear this commotion. They are going at this guy. Not physically yet, but they are on him. Got a big knife right over his head.
But Mike needs him alive for his next move against the pirates.
ATM was freed, and we got one of theirs. And I got on the radio, and I said, 1 down. So the captain knew that we got one of theirs. I was totally spent.
Unseen, high above the Alabama, the US Navy P-3 has located the stricken ship. However, her sensitive scanners have also located a new threat. Pirate reinforcements closing fast on the Alabama. Larger motherships filled with gunmen and attack boats, ready to overwhelm the crew. But the P-3 aircraft is powerless to act against them. Still over 180 miles away, the USS Bainbridge races to get there before the pirate motherships. His victory in the knife fight gives Mike the upper hand, and he goes up on deck. With their leader captured, Captain Phillips convinces the other pirates to escape and is helping them load the Alabama's small rescue boat with supplies.
I looked over the railing, and here they are, captain of the pirates, 2 decks below me, above the steering gear room where the crew was hit at.
The pirates notice a crudely welded hatch on the deck with a ventilation pipe that opens into the space below.
Of course, the guys are laying on there down below it. They're for fresh air.
Directly below is the safe room, filled with the crew.
So they were moving quietly, but moving.
The pirate shines a torch down the pipe, trying to see what is below. The crew freezes as they hear the pirate, and then desperately try to hide as his torch beam probes the room, searching for them.
And they tried the hatch that John Cronin just sealed the day before.
John Cronin is the engineer who welded the hatch shut the previous night.
That is really the one thing that stopped him from finding him, is John being inspired to finish that job, not knowing the next day it'd save his life.
As the hatch is welded shut, the pirate cannot open it. But did he glimpse some movement? Suspicious, he decides to act. Even random shots will hit anyone crammed into this small space. But just as he decides to fire, a shout calls him over to the rescue boat. Its batteries are dead. It can't be used as an escape craft. The pirates need another method to get away. Mike has the pirate leader as his hostage, and the other 3 gunmen have Captain Phillips. In a series of radio exchanges, they negotiate a deal. Mike will swap the pirate leader for Captain Phillips, and then give the pirates a second vessel to escape in, the fully enclosed lifeboat. To sweeten the deal, Captain Phillips bribes the pirates with all the cash in his safe, $30,000.
That's when they went into the captain's room, got cigarettes or money, whatever else they could pilferage.
Mike goes back to his observation point, overlooking the deck, to finalize the details of the exchange.
And we're working out a plan. The captain will keep him there, and I can go get the engines ready, and we can go through this plan to do the swap.
But in order to restart the Alabama, Mike needs all the crew back at their stations. But he finds them in a shocking state.
The safe room is about 15, 20 feet across. It's not a comfortable place to be on a good day. And right over the head is the steel deck that has the sun baking on it.
But with no power, there's no air conditioning.
So they're in a microwave. You're well over 130 degrees. There's no ventilation, zero. Heat stress, heat fatigue, heat stroke. No breakfast, no lunch, no dinner. When the crew came out of the safe room, they looked like they were dead. Literally, there wasn't one of them that should not have went into the hospital, hooked up to IVs, the whole 9 yards.
He makes another difficult decision and asks them to man their stations and reactivate the Alabama.
Those people were on their deathbeds, and they got up and they went and did it. Of these 20 people, every one of them manned up and did it. I was very impressed.
The ship is fully operational when the exchange is agreed. Mike slowly brings their pirate prisoner up on deck. The pirates hold the captain at gunpoint and force 2 crewmen to load the lifeboat with supplies.
They're on the lifeboat. They've packed themselves up with some weapons like hammers and chisels. It's an opportunity because they're passing 5-gallon cans of diesel up and food and water.
While the pirates are distracted by the rest of the crew and the captain, the 2 sailors look for a chance to jump their captors.
And Captain Phillips caught wind of what they were doing. He saw they had weapons and stuff. All you had to do is push these 3 guys in the water. They'd have to let go of their weapons or drown. But he nixed it, so they didn't do it.
The captain judges the risk is too great when facing trigger-happy gunmen.
Who's thinking clearly? I wasn't thinking clearly all day. And I'm sure the captain didn't want to see anybody get hurt, any of them or himself.
The 2 groups face off. The pirates holding the captain and the crew with their prisoner.
Deal is that as soon as we make the swap, we start the engine, we take off, because those boats can't go as fast as we can. That was the captain's plan.
The crew arms themselves with what they can find, tools and kitchen knives. But they face desperate men equipped with Colts and Kalashnikovs. The first mate is closest to the captain.
Well, we're waiting and waiting and waiting. The mate's arguing with the captain. The captain wants him to send the pirate. Well, the mate's like, no, you come simultaneously. And he's not buying it. Finally, the mate gave up and said, okay, fine. He sent that pirate down. And the captain said, I'm just gonna go inside and show them how to work the controls.
The gunmen block the captain's path, and he sacrifices himself to get the pirates away. The crew is powerless as their opponents hold all the cards.
He never came out. Vroom, vroom. Just as quick as could be.
The lifeboat powers away from the ship as the crew look on helplessly.
I would have not have went in to show them the controls. I'd have left them pirates right in that boat. You don't deal with tyrants. That was not a good move.
We could see our lifeboat getting off into the distance. And we're like, oh man, Captain Phillips is on the lifeboat. I'm like, oh, come on.
For the first time for me that day, this was an absolutely sinking feeling of, we can't get beyond this.
As day becomes night, the tiny lifeboat heads towards Somalia until the crew uses the Alabama to block its path. They could easily race to safety, but all agree they will not abandon their captain. Their radar shows a ship approaching rapidly. But is it the USS Bainbridge or the larger pirate mothership spotted earlier by the Navy?
And we don't know what ship is going to get there first, our Navy ship or the pirate mothership.
It becomes a race as the Alabama blocks the lifeboat, keeping it in sight.
And I reeled around and looked over my shoulder. Here's the Bainbridge with not one light on. It was a burden lifted that I don't think I've ever been into my whole life. It was, I should have been dancing a jig if I didn't have other things to do.
The USS Bainbridge wins the race. The guided missile destroyer takes up position to protect the Alabama and stop the lifeboat.
Early in the morning, they launched 2 rib boats, and they've got a gaggle full of people on there. And when they... I'm watching from the bridge. I got a complete view of the midship when they're coming on. I thought it was a SEAL team and a whole squad of specially trained sailors on board.
The Navy brings security, but also bad news.
The Navy's telling us they want us to go to Mombasa, and we're telling them we're not going anywhere without our captain. They told us we can't protect you if the mothership comes over here.
The Navy does not want to risk the Alabama if they have to engage the pirate motherships or take action to save Captain Phillips.
They can't rescue the captain and keep us safe. So they literally forced us to leave. I didn't say nothing to anybody. I just went to bed and passed out.
2 days later, the Alabama arrives safely in Mombasa, Kenya, now the reluctant star of a media frenzy. The crew makes it clear who saved them: Mike Perry.
This is one of the bravest men I've ever met, right here. Right here, this man is a hero, a national hero, right here. Everybody on this ship owes their life to this man, right here. He's a hero.
But the captain is still a hostage.
When we got into port, there was no celebration. We sat there for days, waiting and waiting and waiting.
Hey guys, just heard the captain's safe.
When we got the word that he was rescued, everybody just boiled over and was cheering and, you know.
After 96 hours of hell on the high seas for Captain Phillips and the tiny lifeboat, elite snipers from the US Navy SEALs shoot the pirates. The pirate leader, Muse, who had been captured by Mike, survives. The day before the fatal shots are fired, he transferred to the Bainbridge to negotiate an end to the hostage crisis. He is then arrested and later sentenced to 33 years in federal prison. Captain Phillips retired in 2014. Mike, Colin, and the majority of the Alabama's crew returned to sea after a few weeks, pleased to have put their faith in each other.
There were a lot of heroes on the Alabama, and we would not have gotten out of that situation if we didn't stay together as a crew.
They all recognized what needed to be done, and they just did it. Every one of them, in turn, stood up and did the duty that they knew they had to do. It's unreal. Proud of them. They're all heroes.